There is a hidden truth about love that most men never dare to face. A woman will not give her whole heart to the man who only admires her beauty, or to the man who only showers her with gifts and words. She will only love you with depth, with fire, with loyalty, if you dare to break something within her. Not break her spirit, not her worth, but break the walls she has built to survive. Every strong woman, every guarded soul, carries a fortress around her heart. She has learned from pain, from disappointment, from betrayal. And when you meet her, you are not just meeting the woman. You're meeting her defenses, her masks, her careful distance. Most men stop there. They either run away, or they settle for the surface version of her. But the man who dares to reach deeper, to touch her in the places she hides, to break the cycle of her fears, he is the one she will surrender to. He is the one she will love in a way she has never loved before. Every woman carries a story that she does not always share. She carries scars, silent memories, pieces of herself she had to protect, because the world did not always treat her heart with care. She has learned how to smile when she is hurting. She has learned how to appear strong even when she feels fragile inside. And when you meet her, you may think you are seeing all of her. But the truth is, what you see at first is only the surface, the side she allows the world to witness. Beneath that surface, there is a deeper version of her waiting to be found, waiting to be touched. The kind of love she longs for is not the kind that stays on the surface. It is not the love that flatters her or gives her sweet words without action. It is not the kind of attention that comes and goes like a passing breeze. What she craves is a love that reaches through her walls, a love that shakes her in a way that feels both terrifying and healing. She will only give her deepest love to the man who is not afraid to challenge the barriers she has built around herself. But here is where most men fail. They think breaking her means controlling her, forcing her, or trying to dominate her. That is not the break she needs. What she truly needs is a man strong enough to break the cycle of her fears. A man who can break the silence she hides behind, break the doubts she carries, and break the belief that she must always protect herself from love. She needs the kind of break that sets her free. This kind of man does not approach her with pressure, but with presence. He does not come with noise, but with stillness. He does not try to force his way in. He lets his energy, his patience, and his consistency do the breaking. And little by little, her walls begin to fall. She starts to breathe differently when he is near. She laughs more freely because she feels safe. She looks at him with a gaze that says, "I didn't think someone like you could exist." When a man dares to break her in this way, she does not just give him affection, she gives him devotion. She does not just love him for what he does, but for who he becomes in her presence. And this is the love that cannot be replaced. This is the love that makes her loyal even when tested, that makes her gentle even when life is hard, that makes her strong beside him because she feels stronger with him. When a man understands this truth, his whole approach to love changes. He no longer looks at a woman as someone to impress with shallow efforts. He no longer seeks to win her by playing games or by offering only what looks good on the outside. Instead, he realizes that the deepest part of her will only awaken when she feels him in ways that others never dared to reach. He learns that the most powerful connection is born not when he flatters her, but when he dares to touch the hidden places of her soul. She may resist at first. She may test his patience. She may even push him away to see if his presence is real or temporary. This is not because she does not want him, but because she wants to know if his strength is steady. She wants to know if he can stand still when her storms rise. Every guarded woman asks silently, "Will you leave when I am difficult? Will you disappear when I am not easy to love? Will you run when I show you the sides of me that are not beautiful?" And if he cannot answer those questions with his actions, she will never trust her heart with him. But the man who remains steady, he becomes unforgettable. He becomes the one who does not get swept away by her moods, the one who does not take her walls as rejection but as protection. He understands that those walls are not there to keep him out, but to see if he is strong enough to enter with gentleness. And so he stays, not by forcing his way, but by showing her a different kind of power, the power of calm, the power of patience, the power of truth. And something begins to shift in her. The armor she wore for years starts to feel heavy, and she no longer wants to carry it. The distance she kept between herself and love begins to close. The silence she used to hide behind breaks open into honesty. She starts to speak the things she never said. She lets him see the tears she never let anyone else see. And this is where her real love begins. Because love is not born in perfection. It is born in vulnerability. A woman does not give her deepest heart to the man who makes her life easy, but to the man who makes her feel safe enough to be fully herself. And this is why she will only love you if you dare to break her. Not her worth, not her strength, but the prison she built around her own heart. And once you break that, once you show her she no longer needs the armor, she will give you something that no other man will ever receive. She will give you the rarest part of her, the part that loves without condition, without fear, without hesitation. She will give you her loyalty, her softness, her trust. And in that moment, you will realize that breaking her walls was not about conquering her. It was about freeing her. When you reach that point with her, you begin to understand why so many men never experience this side of a woman. Most men are too impatient. They want quick results, easy affection, instant intimacy. But the truth is, a woman's heart does not open in an instant. It unfolds in layers, like a flower that only blooms when it feels the warmth of the sun and the safety of the soil beneath it. And if you are that steady warmth, if you are that safe ground, she will not only bloom. She will bloom for you in ways she never has before. But here is the paradox. To bring out this kind of love in her, you must risk something yourself. You cannot just stand at a distance waiting for her to fall. You must allow her to see that you are human too. You must let her witness your strength, but also your truth. Because when she sees that you are real, when she feels that your presence is not a mask, her spirit will recognize it. Her defenses will sense that they are no longer needed. And in that recognition, she begins to soften. Softening does not mean weakness. It means trust. It means she finally feels safe enough to put her guard down. And when a woman puts her guard down, she doesn't just give you love. She gives you her soul. She lets you into the parts of her life she never wanted anyone else to touch. She begins to share her fears, her insecurities, her dreams. She begins to trust you not only with her body, but with her essence. And that is the moment her love transforms from something ordinary into something eternal. The mistake many men make is believing that love is about doing everything perfectly. They try to avoid conflict, avoid discomfort, avoid moments where she may get upset. But the truth is, she does not want a man who avoids. She wants a man who can handle. She wants a man who can face tension without breaking. She wants a man who can look her in the eyes when she is angry and remain calm, who can hold her when she feels unworthy and remind her she is enough, who can stand strong when she tries to push him away. That is the kind of man who breaks her walls, not by fighting against her, but by refusing to let go of her when she expects him to. And when she realizes that you are not going anywhere, that you see her flaws and still choose her, that you notice her storms and still stay, her entire being begins to shift. The woman who once doubted love now starts to believe again. The woman who once thought she must carry everything alone now feels the relief of leaning on you. The woman who once feared giving her heart now places it in your hands, not because she has to, but because she wants to. This is the kind of love that cannot be explained to others. It is the kind of bond that makes her eyes soften when she looks at you, the kind of loyalty that cannot be broken by temptation, the kind of passion that does not fade with time. Because once you break her walls, once you dare to reach the core of her, you don't just win her, you awaken her. And when a woman is awakened in love, she becomes the most powerful force you will ever know. And when she is awakened in that way, something changes not only in her but also in you. Because when a woman gives you this kind of love, it is not a small offering. It is not the surface level affection that can be replaced or forgotten. It is a love that comes from the deepest parts of her being, the parts she never thought she would reveal to anyone. And when she places that in your hands, you begin to feel the weight of it. You begin to realize that this is not ordinary, this is not casual, this is not temporary. This is sacred. You see, many men chase the thrill of attention, the excitement of something new, the surface pleasure of being desired. But what they do not realize is that all of that fades. Attention shifts. Excitement dies down. Desire cools. What remains, what lasts, is the depth of connection that comes from breaking through her walls and touching her soul. That is the love that cannot be copied, cannot be duplicated, cannot be taken away. Because once she gives you her soul, no other man can take your place. But to hold that kind of love, you must be prepared for responsibility. Because the same woman who loves you deeply can also be hurt deeply. If you betray the trust she gave you, if you play with the heart she opened for you, if you misuse the soul she handed over, you will not only lose her, you will wound her in a way that takes years to heal. This is why very few men ever truly deserve this kind of love. Not because women do not want to give it, but because so few men are strong enough, steady enough, and honest enough to hold it. So the question you must ask yourself is not, how do I get her to love me? The question is, am I willing to become the kind of man who can be trusted with her love? Because when you become that man, love comes naturally. You do not need to chase it. You do not need to beg for it. You do not need to trick her into giving it. She will give it freely, completely, and endlessly. Because you dared to break through her fears with patience, with presence, and with truth. And here is the beautiful paradox: when you break her walls, she will, in turn, break something in you. She will break the coldness you carry, the loneliness you hide, the distance you built around your own heart. She will break the part of you that thought love was only about attraction or desire. She will break the idea that vulnerability is weakness. She will show you that true strength is found not in pretending to need no one, but in daring to need someone deeply. And in this breaking, both of you are set free. This is why the strongest relationships are not built on perfection, but on depth. They are not built on a smooth path without conflict, but on two people willing to face storms together. They are not built on shallow attraction, but on the courage to break each other's walls in order to discover what lies beneath. And once you reach that level of love, you realize it is not fragile, it is unshakable. Because when two souls meet beyond the walls, beyond the masks, beyond the fears, what is created cannot be undone. So remember this: she will only love you in the way you dream of if you dare to break her. not in the sense of harming her, but in the sense of freeing her. If you dare to break through the fear she hides behind, the distance she holds on to, the silence she uses to protect herself, if you dare to break the pattern of men who came before you by showing her that you are not temporary, that you are not pretending, that you are not afraid of her truth, that is when she will love you, not halfway, not cautiously, not conditionally, but fully. And that is the kind of love that will change your life forever. When you look at love this way, you begin to see that it is not about charm, it is not about the right words, and it is not even about timing. It is about courage. The courage to stand in front of someone who has been hurt before and say, "I am not going anywhere." The courage to love her when she is difficult, when she is defensive, when she is testing you. The courage to stay steady when she pushes you away, not because she wants you gone, but because she wants to know if you are strong enough to stay. Think about it. Every woman who has lived long enough has experienced disappointment. She has trusted and been let down. She has opened her heart and seen it mishandled. She has dreamed and watched those dreams collapse. So when she meets you, she does not immediately believe you. She listens, but she watches closely. She feels, but she holds back. Because she is not just measuring your words, she is measuring your spirit. She is looking to see if you are real. And if you are not, she will know. She will sense it in the small ways, in your impatience, in your inconsistency, in the way you disappear when things get difficult. That is how she knows whether you are another chapter of pain or the beginning of something different. This is why the man who dares to break her must be rare. He must not only bring affection, he must bring stability. He must not only bring desire, he must bring honesty. He must not only bring presence when it is easy, he must bring presence when it is hard. Because that is when she starts to trust. That is when her walls start to tremble. That is when she begins to risk something she has not risked in a long time, her full heart. And once she does, everything about her changes. Her love is no longer cautious. It is wild. It is deep. It is overflowing. She loves not with pieces of herself, but with her whole being. She stands beside you in ways no one else has. She supports you not only in your victories, but in your failures. She gives you not just her smile, but her soul. And that is the kind of love that becomes a man's anchor, his peace, his home. But this love does not come cheaply. It comes with responsibility. If you are given this love, you must honor it. You must protect it. You must never take it for granted. Because once a woman gives you her full self, she is not holding back anymore. If you betray that, if you misuse that, if you take advantage of it, you will not only lose her, you will lose a part of yourself. Because you will know that you had something extraordinary and you let it slip away. This is why love is not for the weak. Love is for the man who dares to face not only her walls but his own. Because in the process of breaking her walls, you will discover the walls you have built too. Maybe you have also been hurt. Maybe you have also been afraid to trust. Maybe you have also been hiding behind silence or distraction. But when you meet a woman who is willing to give you her soul, she will call you to break as well. And if you are brave enough to let that happen, you will both be transformed. This is the love that turns ordinary lives into extraordinary stories. This is the love that makes time feel different, that makes the world seem lighter, that makes even the hardest struggles feel worth it. It is not the love of fantasy. It is the love of depth. And it only happens when you dare to break through the fear, through the pain, through the walls. So remember this truth: she will only love you the way you dream of if you are bold enough to reach beyond what is easy. She will only love you fully if you are steady enough to handle her storms. She will only love you endlessly if you are present enough to make her feel safe. That is what it means to break her. And in that breaking, you both discover freedom. And when you step into this space with her, you will realize something that most men never understand. Breaking her walls is not about control, it is not about force, and it is not about proving your power. It is about creating safety. Safety is the invisible key that unlocks her entire being. When a woman feels safe, her defenses melt away. Her laughter becomes freer. Her voice becomes softer. Her eyes start to shine in ways that even she forgot they could. And when she feels this, she gives a kind of love that cannot be demanded. It can only be invited. But here's the truth many men overlook: safety is not built overnight. It is not built in one romantic gesture, or one passionate night, or one perfect word. Safety is built in the consistency of your presence. It is built in the small moments. When you keep your word, when you listen without distraction, when you stay calm in her chaos, when you remind her that her emotions are not a burden. These small things seem ordinary, but to a woman who has carried walls for years, they are extraordinary. And once she feels it, something profound happens inside of her. She begins to rewrite her story. The part of her that once whispered, "Men always leave," starts to believe, "This one will stay." The part of her that once said, "I must always protect myself," begins to say, "I can finally rest." The part of her that once thought, "I will never be loved fully," begins to know, "I am cherished deeply." And all of this happens because one man was willing to go beyond attraction and dare to reach her soul. But make no mistake, this journey is not for the impatient, not for the selfish, not for the weak. It is for the man who can stand in both fire and stillness, because she will test you, not because she wants to hurt you, but because her heart is valuable and she cannot place it in unsteady hands. She will push, she will question, she will withdraw at times. And each time she is silently asking, "Can you handle me when I am not easy? Can you love me when I am not shining? Can you still choose me when I am scared?" And if your presence does not shake when hers does, then you become the one she cannot forget, the one she cannot replace, the one she chooses with her entire being. And this is the kind of love that transforms not just her but you. Because when a woman loves you this deeply, you begin to see yourself differently. You begin to feel stronger, more grounded, more alive. Her love becomes the mirror that shows you your own potential, your own worth, your own depth. You find yourself not only loving her, but also becoming a greater man because of the way she believes in you, the way she stands by you, the way she gives herself to you. That is why true love is never one-sided. It is always an exchange. You break her walls, and in return she breaks your loneliness. You free her heart, and in return she frees your soul. You give her safety, and in return she gives you devotion. And this cycle keeps building deeper and stronger until the two of you are no longer just two people. You are a bond, a force, a home for each other. And once you have tasted this, you will never want anything less. The shallow connections, the temporary flings, the surface attention, all of it will feel empty compared to the richness of a woman's love once she has truly given it to you. That is why the men who experience this never forget it. Even if they lose it, even if life pulls them apart, they will always know that they once held something sacred. So understand this: she will only love you the way you desire if you dare to break her, not to harm, not to weaken, but to set her free. Free from her fears, her doubts, her walls. Free to love in the way she always wanted to, but never thought she could. And when you give her that freedom, she will give you a kind of love that will not only change your relationship, it will change your life.